welcome to the woods. I got asked one question from Gary about the boots that I was wearing up there. And I thought, you know what, I kind of planned on kind of piecing some things together on the stuff that I did like up there to use equipment-wise, and maybe some of the stuff that I didn't. So boots is a great place to start. So these are maybe in a little rougher shape than they were before they went up. I just bought these this spring. These are Loa, that's the company name. Model name is Tibet GTX, and I think the GTX is just because these are the ones with Gore-Tex. I believe you can buy them without. Vibram sole, waterproof. However, they're not really tall. And when you're up in moose country, you can understand that you might have to wade through some stuff here and there. But they're a fairly light boot for what they are. Super supportive. I like the, it's a fairly stiff sole. And while that's not really their mountaineering boot, they have a mountaineering boot. What I like about that sole is in Nova Scotia, and I was discussing this with Matt while we were up there. Yes, we don't have, where you climb up in Nova Scotia, more than 2 or 3 kilometers at a time, right? We don't have huge mountain ranges, but we have really uneven ground. It's not necessarily flat. So I could be, down into a drainage and then back up and then across a little bit of a flat and then up a hill and then down the other side. You're constantly changing. So that stiff sole, I find, helps me with that type of topography, much more so than some other boots. When I'm deer hunting, I do have an LL Bean, hunting boot, Warden boot, which I like very, very much. It's a little bit warmer, but these I find if I'm going to be doing any walking, that's what I want on my feet for long periods of time while walking. So the Loa Tibet GTX, that's the boot that I used. As I said, they're kind of short. So because they're kind of short, waterproof socks that come up to my knee. These are sealskins. I bought these, I guess it would be about 3 years now. I bought them for another moose hunt. And I was going to be wearing another boot that was a knee-high boot, and I did not like that for hiking, for the amount of hiking it was. So I ended up picking these up. But this is, like I said, it's a sealskin sock. So it's kind of like a neoprene on the, it's kind of like a neoprene looking type sock on the inside, just like that. I don't wear my bare feet in these. I put a light pair of bamboo socks, super, super light, fine mesh. My feet don't sweat a lot compared to, other guys that I've spoken with. I think if your feet did sweat, you'd end up being just as soaked inside these, potentially. They do allow things to breathe. But I do like, I find that my feet rub in these a little bit. So I find if I put a really light sock in underneath these, I get rid of hot spots. I had 0 blisters up there. The only thing that I noticed, I think on the last day, I get a little bit of toe numb on my big toe, at the end of my toe. And that just could be that I was a lot more tired, and maybe just not concentrating on my step. Maybe I didn't have my boots laced up quite right, but it was very minimal in these boots. And we hiked quite a bit. Now, with that, so 2 pair of socks, this being 1 pair and a really, really fine pair, I find that keeps, my feet were not wet. My boots on the inside, I did wade through some stuff, I think on the second day, where I ended up, there was a little bit of water that got into my boots. My boots never really fully dried out, but my feet were always warm and dry. So every day I took these off, and my bamboo socks and my feet, I never had any of that, that white crinkly skin. So I think that's a win. The other thing that I do think you need to consider, we discussed it on our 1-hour video that we did up there, the post-hunt video, is a pair of Gators. So I got a pair of Gore-Tex Gators. These are what, Black Diamond. I think I picked these up at, what are they called, Atmosphere or whatever that's called, years ago. They help keep a lot of stuff out of your boots, so you're not unlacing or whatever. And they keep, if you are wading through the mud, only kind of the water kind of gets into your boots. I had nothing in my boots all week other than a little bit of water. But more importantly, these save your pant bottoms. What you're walking through, if you spend $1,000 on a suit up there, you're walking through stuff that's going to just shred the bottom of your pants, and expensive pants deserve a little bit more protection. So a pair of Gators, a good pair of heavy Gators, not like walking through a field, a farmer's field kind of gator that kind of keeps the wet off. You want something a little harder that really kind of protects your pants. That system there is what I wore on my feet from day one up the mountain and down the mountain. So I did take an extra pair of boots. I did take my my LL Bean Warden boots. They were my camp boots. That's all I wore. They were my slippers. They were what I put on when I went out to take a leak, if I had to, early in the morning. Camp work, bringing in wood, that kind of stuff. That's what I had those there for, so that these had time to sort of rest and dry in between walking up to the highlands. So that's it. You got any questions about that specifically, what I was wearing on my feet and why? Ask. But that's all for this one, and I'll bring you a couple more of these videos with things that I liked and didn't like. All right, to the woods.